Man from Tamil Nadu, name Ramanujan. You heard of him?
Who is this guy? Who's this guy? Do you guys know him? He's probably an actual scientist that he's going to take credit for it because of Hinduism or something like that. Hey, Fatima's here.
Ramanujan? Yeah. Did not get any PhD in mathematics, did not go to any big college, just simply started pouring mathematics.
You know who that reminds me of? Mm. Do you know who I have in mind? Do you guys know? Here, this guy. This guy was denied university education, Mandel, and he did his own science in his own by himself, and he basically revolutionized our understanding of genetics just by himself without any university education. Okay, and he was Austrian, right? So this idea of like, oh my God, this guy was not accepted into Western universities, but he did science anyways. That's not just a Hindu thing, okay? This Austrian guy was denied. His publications were denied. He was completely ignored, and people discovered his genius way after he died. So, and he's European. So again, I don't know if you're going to use this guy as a way to justify that, oh, these Western universities and educated people, they denied this guy because I don't know, he's comes from India or something like that. Well, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It happened to this Austrian guy as well, okay? If that's what you're going to say. I don't know if that's what you're going to say, but I'm just already preemptively. Oh, so Katie is giving us some background about the guy. He's talking about saying, Indians are so fucking proud of Ramanujan. He was a mathematician during colonial India. Here's okay. So objective reality is saying he's a mathematician. Another person, Vasundara, is saying Ramanujan was a great mathematician whose relatives didn't attend his funeral because he went abroad and lost his caste. Wow, that's horrible. He had little formal education and ended up at Oxford. Oh, so wait, so you're saying that the Indian culture didn't recognize his brilliance and didn't celebrate him, but Oxford, the Western society, Western educational system, did recognize his brilliance? So it's almost as if it's the opposite of what he's trying to say to us. So it was the Western world who realized that this guy was a treasure, even though Indian culture didn't recognize that this guy was a treasure. Is that the story I'm hearing? Am I being right here? Katie saying some ultra-Orthodox upper caste Hindus might say it's because he is Aryan too. Oh, so many Indian girls here. Where? Hey, invite me. Oh, Vasundara is saying, yes, exactly, he was Brahmin. Yeah, and okay, so Indian, and then the Indian took credit after the fact. Yeah, this should be a shame to the Indian culture. So he was a genius that you guys that India didn't recognize, but then Oxford recognized his genius. So yeah, so what this you shouldn't be highlighting this story, Sadhguru. This goes against your narrative. Katie is saying, yeah, if we actually go by actual Hindu tradition, crossing the sea will make you lose your caste. Interesting.
If he was here, by now he would have vanished.
Yeah, because of you morons wouldn't appreciate him. Yeah, like, oh, if he was here, he would have been vanished, and he wouldn't go recognized. He thinks this is like he thinks he's condemning Western culture by doing this. The reason why he didn't get vanished is because he went somewhere where he was celebrated for his genius. Look at this. He thinks this story like shows how bad, like, oh, people only take us seriously when Western academia endorses us. Yeah, because you morons didn't. You would not be here. Please know this, okay?
You would not have heard of him. Please know this. He went to England.
So his story is like the world only recognizes Indians when it gets the stamp of approval by Western academia. So he thinks that he's exposing a bias that the world has. But he doesn't understand that this story exposes their bias. That if he was there, you guys wouldn't have celebrated him. You didn't have the institution, and you didn't even have the systems, and the resources to not only to bring this person to a position where you could take advantage of his brilliance. You wouldn't even be able to recognize him. That's why he made the smart decision to go to a place like Oxford. Let me see. What are you guys saying? Okay. Look, they think he just said something so profound.
That's the thing. He went to England and there they were flabbergasted. How does this mathematics come? From where? Well, a whole lot of things he himself could not explain.
Oh my God, he's gonna, oh no, please, please don't say, oh, this guy, oh, he went there, he was a genius, and they couldn't, where is his genius coming from? Is he gonna claim there's some supernatural element behind his genius? Because I'm gonna lose my mind if he does that.
But the mathematics that he wrote down in his notebooks in 1908 got endorsed somewhere in 1994 or 96, saying that this math that he's talking about is the backbone for proving that there are black holes. I want you to understand, in 1908…
Please don't give Hinduism credit for this. Please don't, or else I'm gonna break my screen if he does that.
There was no concept of black hole in the scientific community.
Okay, yes, that's how science work. You don't know something, and then somebody introduces it, and other people test it, and now they know something. They didn't know something before, now they know something. There's nothing supernatural about that, okay? That's how all other scientific concepts worked as well, okay? They didn't know evolution was a thing. Darwin came, introduced it, and now they figured it out, okay? So I hope you don't think there's something beyond that. I don't hope you're like, oh my God, they didn't know about black holes, but this guy came and told them, and now they know. I hope you don't think that proves anything supernatural, because if you think that, then you're a fucking moron.
Normally the way science proceeds is…
Oh, please tell us, Sadhguru. Please tell us how science works.
a concept, then a theory, then the math. But this man just poured out math.
No, what are you talking about? No. A concept, then a theory, then the math. No, in mathematics, it's not like that. Like, for example, Einstein, when he figured out E is equal to mc squared, or anything else, like when it comes to mathematics, it was the other way around. It was the math, then the theory, then the concept. Like when mathematicians come to their conclusions, usually get to usually based on their math, they get to conclusions that they never even expected. The math forces them to certain conclusions that they never even began with. So when it comes to mathematician, that it's not how that works. You know. Do you think Einstein thought like, hey, maybe E is equal to mc squared, and then he went and did the math? No, he did the math, and then he came out like, oh shit, E is equal to mc squared. It's the other way around. With mathematician, is the other fucking way around.
Then the math. But this man just poured out math for which…
As in, what do you think other mathematicians do? He poured out math, as opposed to what? What do you think other mathematicians do? What was so unique about him pouring out math compared to other mathematicians pouring out math?
There is no concept, there is no theory, there is no idea of that in anybody's mind, but he writes the mathematics for that.
Yeah.
Sitting on his deathbed, he poured mathematics.
That's how it works. That's how other mathematicians, you have a pen, and they have paper, and they're doing math, and they're like, holy shit, look what I come up with, and they go introduce it to the world. That's how all of them, that's how it all works with all of them.
people asked, where is this coming from? In his words, he said, my Devi bleeds mathematics.
This is a problem with Einstein. He realized this. I don't know if this guy actually believes this, all right? But Einstein and Stephen Hawking also were poetic with their language at some point. I don't know if this guy actually believed it or not, but this is why scientists need to quit being poetic with their Spinoza's God, with their pantheism. I know it sounds very poetic and stuff when you use language like that, but a bunch of idiots like Sadhguru all of a sudden go and tell the whole world that you actually believe in this shit. I don't know. You guys know about this mathematician? Does he actually believe in shit like this? I mean, if he did believe in shit like this, really believe he wasn't just being poetic about it, then we have many examples like that as well. For example, Newton, he was a genius, but he believed in some fucking bullshit alongside his genius. Like he believed that the Bible had some secret messages in it that he was trying to decode. Let me see if you guys could give me some background on this mathematician. Yeah, so no, okay, so like Hawkins and Einstein originally started using God language, and then they realized that people actually think they believe in God. So both of them at some point be like, hey guys, I actually don't believe in a God. Both Einstein and Hawkins realized that people are morons, and if they just are poetic with their scientific language, they're gonna be used. Einstein, for example, was very frustrated with this, and he spent a lot of time making it clear to everybody that he actually doesn't believe in a personal God. But his earlier language was used for people to actually say like, oh, look at this genius, he believes in God, so God must be real. They did that to Einstein, they did that to Hawkins, and both of them realized that they need to fight back against that, right? Hawkins did that even more effectively than Einstein, so I'm really appreciative that he did that. But Hawkins himself was using God language earlier in his career. Amoeba is saying Ramanujan was a deeply religious person. Oh, so he actually believed in this nonsense. He also credited his discoveries to Tamil goddess Namagiri Tayar. He was John Lennox kind of guy. Okay, but he's like, here's another person, okay? Okay, does it have... Let me show you guys this. I mean, when it comes to geniuses, it's really hard to go above Isaac Newton, right? Like, this is what... Look at this crap. In the 1960s, Newton wrote a number of religious tracts dealing with the literal and symbolic interpretation of the Bible. A manuscript... Where does it go? A manuscript Newton sent to John Locke in which he disputed the fidelity of John... okay, so basically he went insane, okay? So Isaac Newton really believed in the Bible, and he was trying to decode a whole bunch of crap in it. He was crazy. Like he believed in so many conspiracy crap. Along with his scientific fame, Newton's studies of the Bible and the early church fathers were also noteworthy. Newton wrote works on textual criticism, most notably. Yeah, you guys can look into this. He had some really wacky theories about the Bible. He thought there was hidden information in it. Okay, so it's possible for somebody to be a genius mathematician while at the same time being a fucking moron about something else. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Kate's saying Ramanujan once said, an equation for me has no meaning unless it expresses a thought of God. Jesus. Genius is often being uncompromising with objective reality, which always involves breaking convention. I'm not sure about that. Katie saying, Armin says, here's another person, just to bring out the wiki page of Isaac Newton. Just another person, right? Yeah. Newton also believed he could turn... Oh, yeah, there's another thing. He said he could turn base metal into gold. He believed in... he thought... he believed in alchemy. So that was idiotic of him as well.
This is what he said. Because he is a worshipper of a certain deity. She's his window to the existence. So this is what deities are if they're properly created.
So okay, so
People give
based on this argument, could we say Newton, because Newton believed in the Bible, so he thinks like Abrahamic religions are superior to other ways of thinking, right? So the fact that Newton, or there were a lot of other mathematicians from the from the European countries that believed in the Bible and believed in Jesus, does that mean that their math was being poured out of Jesus's ass?
asking me, Sadhguru, where is all this knowledge coming from? You just have to open a window. What kind of window you find is up to you. But this is what energy forms were. Today, in
Citation needed. Like look how loosely, how easy it is for them to connect dots. Okay, this is how their logic works. Like, hey, this guy was a brilliant mathematician. He believed in goddesses. That's it. That's my argument. Okay, that means that goddesses present energy forms, and this guy who believed in these goddesses, the math must have been coming from these energy forms that made people understand how black holes work. Where's my argument for why this is true? That was my argument. That was the argument, okay? That was, this guy did math, he believed in goddesses. Those are my, that's it. I win. Okay, that's it.
some gross logic, very basic logic, people are trying to deny everything just because
Yeah. But I have such shit logic, and it's so surprising to me why people don't agree with me. Oh, they just want to deny everything. Yeah, because you're spewing nonsense, and you want people to believe in it. And if they don't, oh, everyone is just rejecting everything. Maybe if you make more sense, if you actually have a good argument for your points, maybe it would be harder for people to deny it.
logic, people are trying to deny everything just because
Not everything, just nonsense.
there is a certain amount of dogma gotten mixed up with this, certain amount of blind belief systems mixed up with this.
Oh, certain. It's not all of Hinduism that is bad. There's just some dogma. There's just like, oh, we have some like bad parts, and that's because of that dogma. Everyone wants to deny everything. Oh, so what's the good part? What's the good, like, okay, so the other part is dogma. The part that is not dogma is the part that I tell you this guy knows math and he believes in goddesses, and therefore you have to conclude that the math comes from the goddesses, and you shouldn't question it, because if you question it, I'm going to accuse you of denying everything. That's not the dogmatic part, okay? That is not dogma, okay? You just have to accept what I'm saying based on the flawed logic that I have. You just have to believe me, and that's not dogma. There's some other parts that is dogmatic, and it's those parts that is the problem.
Now you're trying to throw the entire thing out. This will be the dumbest thing to do, because the strength of this culture, the intellectual development of this culture, and the achievements of this culture essentially depended on this.
Yeah, what of this culture? The achievement of… Now you're trying
to throw the entire thing out. This will be the dumbest thing to do, because the strength of this culture,
right,
the intellectual development
of this culture, right after you bringing up an example of somebody that had to go all the way to Oxford for him to be able to be recognized and for his genius to be used to advance science. Yeah, the intellectual development of this culture. That's why he stayed in India, isn't it? Right? That's why he didn't have to go to Oxford. Yes, intellectual development of this culture. Then why didn't he stay in India? Why did he have to go to Oxford?
of this culture and the achievements of this culture essentially depended on this, that we learn to open windows into cosmic space.
Yeah, open doors so that people could leave and go somewhere where they're actually recognized for their genius.
And know knowledge, not by book, not by learning, simply by sheer perception.
What? Wait, what? What? Holy, okay, I think we're reaching levels of stupidity that should not be humanly possible. Hold on, wait, what? What?
culture, and the achievements of this culture essentially depended on this, that we learn to open windows into cosmic space and know knowledge, not by book, not by learning, simply by sheer perception.
Wait, what? What?
So this is how the culture grew. You
Are you fucking serious? That was it? There's no other context? You open windows into the cosmic space? Not by books, not by learning, simply by sheer perception? Oh my god, this is like, is this the anti-intellectualism that I think it is? Wait a minute, so that mathematician, did he like learn his math not by books, not by learning? He just like, it was shoved into his brain? How did he do that? He just like, he never picked up a math book? He didn't do math as a child? He just woke up one day, and then his goddess just shoved up all this math up his ass one morning, and we're like, hey, I have math in my head right now. I don't know where it came from. Like, what do you mean not by book, not by learning? Guys, I have no idea who this mathematician is, but I'm almost sure that before he became a mathematician, he was doing some math learning as a child and as a teenager growing up, and I would bet a lot of money that he was studying math books at some point before he became a mathematician. Am I wrong? Was the math just revealed to him? Like, was it just like a divine gift that was just shoved up his ass or something? Hinduism believes, guys, tell me about this mathematician. Did he not go to school, and like, was he not doing, like, my picture of this guy was like, he was like doing math as a kid, like he was learning, he was obsessed with mathematics, and he was learning it. What do you mean not by learning, not by books? Simply by sheer perception? And look at the imagery.
cosmic space and know knowledge, not by book, not by learning.
Look, this is what they show when it goes to by sheer inspiration. Look at the image that they have behind. Is this how you gain knowledge? This is how you gain knowledge? Is this the image that they're using? Are you trying to convince us that this is the method in which way you get knowledge? Holy fuck, is she a mathematician now? Did she just become a genius mathematician by doing this shit? Katie saying Ramanujan was a child prodigy. Okay, but was he doing like mathematics? Was he using books and learning? Was he going to school? Or he just like, hey guys, I just know math. Like, how do you know math? Like, I just know. It's divine gift. Like, was he not practicing math as a child? So I was saying, of course you are right. Maths is learned. Sadhguru is an idiot. Yeah, exactly. He is an idiot. Yeah, okay, so Kate, here, finally some confirmation. He was studying a book by S.L. Loney on advanced trigonometry a while after he turned 11 and 12. Oh, so it was a book. There were books involved, hey? Because Sadhguru is saying not by books, not by learning. So Katie, you're telling me there were books involved? I don't know who to believe here, Katie. You or this fucking moron? I'm gonna go with you.
Simply by sheer perception.
By sheer perception? What the fuck are you talking about?
So this is how the culture grew.
You are honestly gonna give credit to Hindu culture for mathematics? For this guy's mathematics? Are you fucking serious? You know, every time he uses zero, you could be like, oh yeah, Hindu. No, not Hindu, Indian. Okay, it's not Hindu. It's not Hindu, okay? It's Indian, okay? Just a zero, nothing else. Oh, that here, Katie's saying he also borrowed a book called A Synopsis of Elementary Results in Pure and Applied Mathematics from a library and studied several other books. Oh, okay. Seems like there were books involved. AJ is like, yeah, exactly.
Acha.
Wait, were these books, Katie, were these books, by any chance, any of these books that he borrows from the library, were any of them British by any chance? Or European by any chance? The books that he was like, the books that you're mentioning, that he borrowed to read, to learn mathematics, were any of them written by Europeans? Yes. Okay, yeah, Katie, but were any of these books written, any of the, oh yeah, there you go. Kate saying, I know of two of the books, both written by Europeans. Okay, so this guy, the mathematician that he's celebrating, who said like, no books, no learning, just sheer, I don't know, perception, divine inspiration, revelation from our goddesses and stuff. No, he was studying European written books. Okay, he got his math from the Europeans. Sad guru. It wasn't because of your culture. He learned that from the Europeans. So it was the European culture. Sorry, not sorry. Katie saying also this mathematician Ramanujan's religious beliefs were romanticized by Westerners. The same romanticization he is using in this video. The Westerners romanticize anything they think of as exotic. Right. So these things that he was celebrating about his religious views, these so-called Westerners, these Westerners that he doesn't like, they were doing the same shit about his religious views that he's doing. Man, if the way these people describe Westerners, if Westerners were describing Indians, they would consider it absolute bigotry. But everybody could talk about Westerners as if they're inferior, and nobody thinks that is bigotry. Katie's saying the problem with Ramanujan, okay, we move past him now, okay, was that he was probably influenced by, all right, well,